Welcome back, people. This is Don't Sleep on the Couch podcast. I'm your boy, Mr. Prez, and with me always,
it's your boy Cash, aka Exec P, aka Cash Flow, aka Just Don't Call Me Bro, aka I ran out of AKAs. What's happening, good people?
Man, what you with this long ass intro, man? Come on,
I don't know, man. I'm freestyle,
Give me
man.
one name and let's
off
move
the
on.
dome, off the top of the dome. Go ahead, man. What's up?
Hey, Cash, for the new people who just tuning in, can you please tell them who we are and what we do real quick?
This is Don't Sleep on the Couch podcast, music, sports, entertainment, culture. Each and every week we drop at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have interviews from independent artists, all walks of life, entrepreneurs. We have everything that you want, barbershop banter. But what we stick to is music and sports mainly every single week. And right now we are in the dog days of summer. You know what I mean? So this is one of our Patreon episodes. We just going to kick back. You know, we had to bring back one of our former guests on here, recording artist, King James. He's dropped a lot of dope shit in the last couple, years or so, in his resurgence back to the music. But all in all and through, what we found out in interviewing him, he's one hell of a sports fan. And this week, his number was called.
So if you've been tuning in to the NFL side, it was really the only big news that the biggest of news that had happened this week, minus everything else that's going on with the Washington Commanders. But we ain't here to talk about that. So the big trade that happened this week, Baker Mayfield is off the Browns and traded to King James, Carolina Panthers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And with that said, welcome. First of all, welcome to the podcast. I mean, this is a reoccurring thing here. But listen, man, take it away, man. We want to know what your thoughts are because you had Sammy there, and you complained to the high heavens about how bad Sammy is, but you've changed tune with Baker Mayfield, which I find kind of strange.
Cash, before we let you go off, James, so let's go on here and let's break down the trade. So Baker Mayfield was traded to the Panthers from the Browns for a 2024 conditional fourth-round pick. It could be a fifth round if he don't play 70% of the snaps, which roughly equates out to if he only plays 12 games versus 12 of the 17 games. If y'all can hold out 5 weeks, y'all can basically push him off for a fifth-round pick. So right now, y'all drafted a quarterback this year in the third round, Matt Corral?
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Sam Darnold that you kind of pulled from the Jets after they had got Wilson up that way. So didn't kind of work out in his favor, but it could have been a learning experience. Got to learn the playbook, learn new styles. But I'll let you open up and you can talk on this whole little point, what you think of the trade, and then how you think he's going to kind of fit into that depth chart that we just mentioned.
All right, so first off, I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not a huge Baker Mayfield fan by any stretch of the imagination. Like, do I think he's talented? Yeah, maybe. But as a first-round pick, he's been a bust. Like, Cleveland did everything they could to get him weapons, and it never panned out for him. So I'm not a huge Baker Mayfield fan. But this trade, it's a really good trade, man. I can't even front. Like, you're talking about, getting a quarterback that can step in and be a starter from day one, for a fifth-round pick, conditional fourth-round pick, and we only have to pay $5 million because the Cleveland Browns are paying $10 million of his salary. So whenever you can do something like that, that's always a good move whenever you have, uncertainty in the quarterback position. So I love the trade, man. If I can give it a grade, I give it an A+. You can't really do better than that, in terms of making a trade, for a quarterback that's on the market. It doesn't really happen that often. So I love the trade. I'm excited.
I mean, I get what you're saying about Baker Mayfield, but I am going to shoot some of his little accolades that he did be able to accomplish up there at Cleveland. He did get to an AFC championship game. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at, no matter what you're saying, how he got there, who was on this team. He took a Browns team that was knocked into irrelevancy for so long, not seeing these playoffs like that on a consistent basis and taking them to the AFC Championship. Now, last year, they had everything fall out. That was OBJ, his dad sending out the tapes and getting him pushed onto a Super Bowl ring on his finger with the Rams. And then you had all the other receivers out there also, complaining and eventually like kind of leaving Cleveland, where they got a new quarterback, new receivers over that majority. Defense kind of stayed pretty much intact over there. So they're still looking kind of good, minus the Watson trade. I mean, like they got Watson. They're giving him all that guaranteed money. He may not play this year. So I think they was hoping that they can probably, like, I bet you initially they was hoping that they could play with Baker Mayfield for a year and he would just play out his contract and they just let him go. But, he didn't accept that. He demanded a trade and, basically saying he's not going to show up. They had to go get them. And then what you going to do? Pay him $18 million to just sit there? You're going to give him the Watson treatment that they had in Houston, or you going to just try to recoup some of your money? And they look like they tried to recoup some of their money and send him off. So he did receive a level of success. It wasn't as successful as everybody wanted with the Super Bowl ring, with the talent that he had at receivers and everything. But, can he repeat at a different place? Could it just be environment, or is this going to be kind of self-imploding?
It could be, he just needed to change the scenery. I mean, we've seen in a lot of places, like sometimes for whatever reason, things just don't mesh well, in their organization. Maybe the expectations for who he needs to be as a player didn't really align with who he wanted to be as a player. So I'm definitely not saying that the book is closed on Baker Mayfield, and I don't hate him. I don't want to get that twisted. Like, I do not hate that kid. Like, I do think he's talented, but I just feel like, the whole narrative of like, okay, yeah, he led the Cleveland Browns. The Browns were a really solid football team. Like, their defensive team built on running the football, So it's kind of like, I'm not going to give Baker, that credit, but he did lead that team. He did lead that team. So I get what you're saying. But with our skill position players, it's an amazing opportunity for Baker Mayfield to, like, just pretty much void the first part of his career, as an NFL quarterback. Because if he comes out and he balls out the way we've been needing the quarterback, we're going to max him out. Like, let's say if we go, 11-5, 11-6 or whatever, and we make the playoffs and he has an amazing season. He throws like 35 touchdowns to like 12, 13 interceptions. We don't max him out.
Why the face, Fred?
Well, I'm going to get into that because we're going to break down the schedule here in a second. We're going to break that down in a little bit.
And I'm not saying that he can do anything like that. I'm just saying if he has that kind of season, because I don't have any expectations for next season, to be honest with you. I'm tired of doing it to myself. I'm like, this is going to be the year. We got, McCaffrey. I'm done with that shit. Like, I'm just going to see how the chips fall. But if he does ball out, we're going to max him out. So it's an amazing opportunity for him. And I think it can be, something good for us.
And that's what I wanted to speak on, the current roster dilemmas that y'all are dealing with over there at the Panthers. We have your receivers who was threatening maybe to retire and stuff like this. This seeming like they're a little bit more open to, quarterback play of Baker Mayfield to kind of play out the season. And what was that? Robbie Anderson, right? That was the one who was like threatening to retire and just be done. But it seems like he's going to go ahead and play out his contract, or his, at least this season, and we'll see how it go from there. Christian McCaffrey, as you mentioned, we've seen what he can do and what he can bring to the game and everything, but they gave him that money, and ever since then he's been hurt nonstop. So this is why they don't play running backs, and he's probably good on him on getting the bag. I put out my whole little things of why I didn't think he deserved it at the point in time, where I know all his accolades and stuff like this, but I was just saying, like, the level of quarterback, and they don't pay nobody else. They paid Christian McCaffrey, and look how it come back to bite him. So I don't think his contract is going to help out running backs in the future on there. But like we were saying, so we're looking at the schedule. You said 11 wins. You threw out 11 wins. Cash mentioned the look I got on there. I got the schedule here, and I want to break down, and we can go through it a little bit, because initially what I was saying was about, like, all y'all got to pay him, like, hold out 5 games, and then play him, and y'all ain't got to give up a fourth. I mean, fourth ain't even much. I mean, who cares about that anyway? But if you ain't got to give it up, you ain't got to give it up, right? So if you can hold out 5 games, your first 5 games against the Browns, and Browns are unstable, they're not going to have the Watson. I don't think it's going to be up under center, so it's a good chance whoever you have at quarterback, as long as y'all got McCaffrey out there, if he playing week 1, you got a good chance of winning that game, in my opinion. Then you got the Giants, you got the Saints, Cardinals and 49ers may be a little bit more difficult. Who knows which side of the Saints we're going to get? Is Winston really going to be on, after his injury last year? We'll see how that kind of do. But the Browns and the Giants, I feel like y'all could kind of get 2 wins, and out of that 5, you could probably sneak out 3 wins with whoever's playing quarterback for y'all right now.
Yeah, my only concern with Darnold is that, he kind of like handicaps the team, our defense is going to have to play lights out, and they're going to have to get turnovers, possibly even score, for me to feel comfortable about beating any competent team, let alone a good team. So just having him at quarterback, I can't even comfortably say that we beat anybody, to be quite honest with you. Like last year, that game where he had at the Jets, it's like, dude, you've been in on this team for 4 years. Like, this is the team that the best, and he could not score on them. And I already knew him, like, he's cooked, If you can't score on your old squad, you can't score on nobody, pretty much. Yeah. So I'm not giving us any wins if Sam Darnold starts at quarterback. I'm saying we go 0-5. Now, in terms of like,
if that's the case, if they don't play Baker right off the jump, you saying if they don't play Baker right off the jump,
he'll be there. He got more than enough time.
No, he got to have, like, let's be realistic. I mean, most trades had already happened at this time frame. He'd have already been in the initial camp, off-season camp that they have. Yeah. He's learning the playbook. He done threw to a couple receivers. They've been throwing a little bit more off-season. Getting traded this late in the season, still before initial preseason and preseason camps and all that stuff started, but it's still behind the curve of all the other teams that's out there.
But you got to take into account not having we have tape on Baker, but you don't have tape on Baker in this offense. You know what I mean? So it could be some, how it go, man. When the new guy gets on the team, is initially some safe stuff and some little bit of backyard football to a certain extent, to where you giving a guy clean looks. And I think my question to you, James, is just like, this guy, his height and his accuracy has been proven to be an issue outside of him just being in his own head with stuff like that. So with all of that, kind of working in, do you see him starting day one? And do you have some concerns with his accuracy? Because that's just one of the glaring points in what he can't do and make those tight throws in the NFL, things that he was able to do in college, because, seems like, all the receivers that he had in Oklahoma, like they was always, somebody, a defender was a mile behind them, or, you know what I mean? But these NFL catches just proved to be a little bit more difficult for him to thread in there. What are your thoughts on what he ultimately can bring to the table in terms of just his availability and just skill set?
So the first part of your question, I do think he's going to start week 1, because you got to remember, our head coach is coaching for his career. Like, he's not going to be able to afford to go, 0-2, 0-3, 0-4. He's not going to make it to the bye week if that happens. The way he came into our organization saying that he's not here for mediocrity and he's trying to build a winning culture, and he has yet to exceed the win total, from the previous year that he got there. It's absolutely paramount that we get off to a good start. So if we lose like the first 3 games, his ass is grass. Him knowing that, I don't think he's going to take a shot on, starting Sam Darnold and having a healthy Baker Mayfield right there. If you start Baker Mayfield, it does kind of give you some of the cover of, he's new to the offense. We're still building work. We already seen what Sam Darnold has to offer us, and it's not anything. I think he's a detriment, to be honest with you, but, Baker Mayfield, it does give you some kind of hope. And the way our offense can be set, it can be friendly to a quarterback of his stature. The main thing that we have to do is we need to stop using Christian McCaffrey like he's a power running back. We got a good second-year running back in Chuba Hubbard, that needs to take those carries off of Christian McCaffrey. It's a lot of times where like late in games that we're already going to win and we still have Christian McCaffrey running dives. Stupid shit, you know. Christian McCaffrey is too important for us to be doing him like that. What we need to do is put his ass in the slot, you know, put Chuba Hubbard in the backfield, like get creative in where we line up Christian McCaffrey because he's like an ultimate weapon. Like when you see him run, like if you can get him on a linebacker, he's going to fry that man every single time. He's going to be open, you know, for a little 5-yard dump down. That doesn't require a whole lot of accuracy, you know, and Baker Mayfield won't really be taking hits because the ball comes out fast. He gets in a groove. Next thing you know, he can hit some long ball stuff to Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, you know, like, but we need to be a rhythmic offense, you know, that's predicated on, you know, getting like 3-4 yards, 3-4 yards of play, 3-4 yards of play. And then I know, you know, but if we can get 3-4 yards of play, you're constantly getting first downs. Now, if you're in like a, you know, you got like a second or two, you can take a shot, you know, but I think Baker Mayfield can be successful. I think he can be really successful, actually.
No, I was laughing at what you had just said about you was naming the players on the team, and I was just like, Robbie Anderson, he left the Jets, came to Carolina. Sam Darnold followed him. He gave him another chance, and then you know we just talked about it. He was threatening to retire. He was like, "Man, I ain't this. Fuck all this." You know what I mean? I feel bad for him as you was mentioning, as you were saying that. I was like, I gave my own self a little chuckle, man. I was just like, man, yeah, I would do the same thing. Like, I can't leave this thing. Ain't about to mess up my name, man. It's already damaged enough.
and that's what I'm saying too. It's like the receiver that you have the greatest rapport with, you have the worst connection rate with. Like I think Robbie Anderson had like the worst catch rate of any starting receiver on our team, and you played with that man for years. Like, what's the malfunction? At some point, you got to point the finger at the player and be like, "You're just not that guy." You know, I don't care what he did at USC. First of all, I'd never take a quarterback from USC anyway. I think that's where it came from. Right? I'd never do that anyway.
Sam Darnold, yeah.
Yep. But it's like, you know, I don't know, man. Like. To me, they giving him way too many chances. Way too many chances. Like, you know, I think we can fix him. Like, nah. Sometimes a motherfucker he not broke. He just ill shapen. You know what I'm saying? He was formed like that. You know, like you can't add something to him that ain't there. You know, so I don't know.
I know.
Right,
let's
dig back into a little bit more of this schedule. Let's go ahead and talk. We talked about those first 5 games. You saying, hey, to go ahead and start Baker Mayfield. So I think it's going to be a little fight. But I still think like the Cardinals and 49ers come out of that on top. The other ones, the Saints is kind of a toss up. But I think you come out on top on the other two, right? If everything goes well in a good situation. And I mean, I don't know how you think on the Cardinals. I mean, but the Cardinals, you know, they teaming back up. They already had D-Hop, and you got what's the boy name? Hollywood. Hollywood is over there now. So Hollywood Brown. You remember they traded? Yeah. They Ravens traded him on like draft day, like for the thing. So I mean, like that's teaming back up with his best friend, and we seen how that kind of played out in the NFL. Now, when these college players link back up with the quarterbacks and receivers link back up, it's just magic that kind of happens. So that's what's got me kind of scared about that game, that particular game. And I was like, but it could. But Cardinals have been starting out hot for the past couple of years with with Kingsbury and stuff like this. This is in the later half of the season they kind of fall off. 49ers, I mean, y'all could because Trey Lance started playing. I mean, it's a possibility, but I don't count those as lost. But the next 2 games y'all got right after that, if y'all did hold out and Baker didn't play into this 5th game, it would look bad for him going into these first games. So that's why I'm with you that I think he will start at the top of the season, because it will be Rams versus the Bucks. Rams and the Bucks for the next 2 games. And those are going to be tough games, and you don't want those as your first 2 games. Nah.
Lot of bluebirds if those are your first 2 games, because everybody's expecting like, okay, now it's time to like really turn it around. It's kind of like setting them up for failure, to be honest with you. But yeah, like nah, I don't think we can beat the Rams. I don't think we can. I think we can beat the Bucks. It depends on if we're home or if we're away. Because I mean, divisional games are kind of like that. It's not necessarily about who's the best team. You know, it's like that home field advantage really plays a big role. So I think we'll split. With 2 of our divisional opponents and get swept by the other one. I don't know which one is going to be which, but it's just how I feel.
hope it's not this next one I'm going to mention. I'm counting that one as a win. The Falcons.
The Falcons. If you lose to the Falcons, Lord.
Hey, we sleep for the Falcons.
That might be the worst team in football probably next year. It got to be.
Who was that quarterback again?
I don't even know.
Marcus Mariota.
Yes.
God.
And he's not even trash, but like I just think with what he gets I don't know. You know, they drafted the tight what's the tight end there, Perez? Help me out. They drafted pretty high on the Falcons.
That was last year. They
last
got
year.
Him, why is the name slipping? Man,
he's slipping my mind as well.
Right, I know you're talking about though.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. But he don't block nothing. Like you got to use him strictly like a receiver and stuff like this. Then
I will say this though. My fault, Prez. I will say that Mariota is a good fit for them because even though Matt Ryan's a much better quarterback, you know, the fact that Mariota can move around, he's going to help the O-line out a whole lot.
Can he though? As a Raiders fan, we only asked him to come in 2 games in the past 2 years, and he got injured in both those games. So good luck with that.
You can't hate on the man injury. God damn. I wanted before our comms and everything go down because they known to because we've been on the pod for a while with multiple pods today. We wanted to get this one in, man. Your man. Cam Newton he's still delusional, yeah. He's still been pretty delusional. I've been wanting to ask you, man, how do you feel about like he's been on this podcast and he's been like talking about what he did in yesteryear, you know, all his accolades and what he's done, not what he's actually done when he's been on the field. Do y'all think it's a wrap for Cam? Like he just doesn't play in the NFL no more, just based on injuries and his skill set not being superior to what he can produce at this point in his career?
It's unfortunate, but I do think he's done. I don't think that there's any team out there that's going to take a chance on him. If us, the Carolina Panthers, in our state of disarray, won't take a chance on him, I don't see any other team taking a chance on him. I do still think that he can play. I think that he can be a pretty good starter, you know, but it's just one of those situations where, like, you know how, like, I go back to the Seahawks, like that last Super Bowl that Seattle played in, that last play when they should have gave the ball to Marshawn Lynch, but they wanted to give the ball to Russell Wilson, is that they don't want somebody with his type of personality that people like, that players like, to come in, you know, because they want to engineer who the leader of the team is. They don't want a leader to be organic anymore. It's like, hey, I got this kid over here. This is my leader. So that automatically disqualifies him from being the backup quarterback because, you know, the guys in the locker room, they're still looking at him like, all right, you know.
That's Cam Newton. That's Cam Newton.
It's Cam Newton, you know. So it's one of those scenarios where it's just unfortunate. I really do feel like us as a team, you know, we really should have given him that shot. He never should have got cut in the first place. But I don't see it doesn't make sense for any other team to give him that shot. So I think he's done.
Press with this being your boy, you know, Auburn alum.
Get me talk bad about Cam Newton. You know,
man. What you
he's
think?
Forever a legend, forever a great. He can go in there and say whatever he want to say. He earned that. He did that play on the field. He made the world hate him with that damn dab and just couldn't stop him. He went all the way to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, he didn't win. Talent like this kind of thing happened, you know, a couple injuries, you know, a couple shoulder injuries that he had and all that stuff. And, you know, the accuracy and stuff kind of fails. But I mean, I feel like he could still be part of a team as a backup. It's hard for me to believe with all the talent. And when we see these other quarterbacks come on the field late in the games and stuff like this, when other quarterbacks go down, that Cam Newton is not one of the top 64 quarterbacks in the league right now.
Let me stop you there. So, he's been talking about being the top 32. That's the problem. That's the problem.
He might be top 32. That's what I'm saying.
I think that's the problem. I think that's the problem is that nobody sees him as a starter. They will have him on the team, but they don't want to bring
He got to realize, even if he is a top 32, the future, having him in as a long term is not. I'm willing to give this other guy a chance that I say may not be better than you, but I feel like I can mold him to fit my offense. I'm gonna willing because he's younger. I'm willing to give him that chance versus putting Cam Newton in right now because that's a short term kind of fix. And unless you're the short term fix that I would say like a TB that's gonna take us to the Super Bowl this year right here, then what's the point of having you around? Like, I can use you better as a backup, knowing that I got a capable quarterback that can lead the offense and, that can teach my young quarterback how to be a leader.
I just be feeling like he don't want to do that. Like, I would just be feeling
Nobody
like he
wants to do that.
In his head, he won't let it.
Job.
It's hard. It's hard though. Like when you truly believe in your heart of hearts that you're more talented than somebody to take a back seat to.
Yeah,
it's like if I really feel like I'm colder than you, you know what I'm saying? I'm not taking. Why am I taking a back seat? I don't care who say what. I'm colder than you. And then the issue is you have other players like come on, man. Does anybody really think that Sam Darnold was better than Cam Newton? No. Find me the person that thinks that Sam Darnold was better than Cam Newton. You know what I'm saying? So we can make sure that they don't reproduce. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just idiocy. like there's no way. Like it's impossible. But like all of the politics and stuff and the fact that youth, and perception plays a part in who's your quarterback, those are the conditions that will allow Cam Newton to have to sit behind somebody like Cam Darnold on a franchise that he pretty much built. So if he has to take a backseat to Sam Darnold here, where else is he going to, leapfrog somebody? Like a team like the 49ers. The 49ers are a power-running football team. Cam would be a dream in that offense, Like he would literally be a dream in that offense, but they have Trey Lance there, So it's like, it's Trey Lance's team. We've invested XYZ into Trey Lance. The business side, a lot of times it takes precedent over the actual talent. And I think that's what Cam's having a hard problem reconciling because he knows what he can still do. Like, I mean,
and a part of it to me is timing too, right? When you think about these things, and I'll take us out of here soon, man. I know y'all got stuff to do. Part of it is timing, right? It's just like, when he got to the Patriots and kind of when he tried to, when he would get back on teams, it would be in the middle of the season trying to learn the playbook, much to like what Prez said about Baker coming in. And this is before the season starts. This is with 6-7 weeks, maybe 8 weeks at the most right now at this point until, the real games start. You know what I mean? Like you can't come in, then perform the way Cam performs. That's on tape. Like regardless of how we feel about him, that's there. And this may be his fault for wanting to get back into the league so much, but then you're shooting yourself in the foot when all of those things are against you and you don't perform. That's my only thing is like, Cam, you're kind of doing this to yourself. You're pushing yourself out by taking chances when you need a full off season to really do your thing,
The thing that I'll say about the Patriots situation, it's like a series of unfortunate events, like Corona, that's the Corona season, and instead of people being objective and saying, hey, you got this, all of the holdouts that they had, people say, I'm not playing this year because I don't want to take the vaccine. They threw all of that on Cam. And that's fucked up, because before Cam caught COVID, if Julian Edelman catches the ball, he would have had one of the greatest performances on a Monday night, like Monday Night Football, and Julian Edelman drops the ball in the end zone. Then Cam catches COVID, looks like dog shit the rest of the season, but nobody's objective when it comes to Cam. It's all his fault. But when it goes great for Cam, you got carried by your defense or, you really didn't do anything. All you do is run. It's like, Cam, it's going to take some time, but Cam's going to be one of those misnomers when people go back and really look at his career and all of like the feelings on both sides, the fans and the haters, when they can just look at him from an objective point of view, it's like, what the fuck did we do? Because it's really like, it's like you crucifying Jesus almost. He ain't did shit but ball up. That's all he did. He did shit but ball up.
Preach on this Sunday, man. Go ahead, preach, man. Like, hey, we drop that $1 million in that collection play as a War Eagle got our championship. I would never say nothing bad about Cam, man. No.
I got nothing bad to say about him either. I just like again, man. Like, yeah. It's just his ego, his cachet he brings to a locker room. If the quarterback doesn't have the same body of work that Cam has, he's a natural leader, and then unfortunately that's to the detriment of him getting another job. So
even 2017 is probably his best season. We went 11-5. He outplayed Drew Brees in the Superdome. Only difference is, he's throwing the fucking ball to Brenton Burst and what's that guy that fucking dropped, bruh? Like, we had a drop touchdown and we had a missed field goal. And Cam's driving at the end of the game. He has to score a touchdown. If we don't miss a field goal, we could have kicked the field goal to tie the game. That's why like Cam's entire career has been a series of unfortunate events. A lot of them with nothing to do to him. Because, he's always going to get roasted for that Super Bowl performance. It's not his fault that we couldn't block anybody.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not his fault. Because even as great as Tom Brady is, when he gets hit, he looks like shit.
That's every quarterback.
There was letting some nasty hits go off on Cam during that time.
Man.
Especially in that Super Bowl. He was getting hit and stuff should have been called. Any other quarterback, I mean, they ain't did no quarterback.
It's the Shaq effect. It's the Shaq effect, man.
Since Tom Brady got injured, ever since he got that leg injury, they ain't let nobody touch a quarterback. But Cam Newton came in, did a dab for 1 year, and then hit him. Go ahead, hit him. Take his head
the
off.
League had a vendetta against him. Like, they wanted to bring him down a notch, and it's like, I've never seen that with any other player, because if you come in, they want that swagger, but they didn't want it in the package that Cam Newton presented it, a guy like Baker Mayfield, they love it, He come out and make the playoffs, and now he getting progressive commercials and shit. He doing the weird ass dances and stuff.
I love his swagger. I love the passion he brings to the game.
Exactly. It's like you have no issue with the way that Cam acts. You have an issue with how Cam looks. You don't want Cam's personality in a black man. You want a black man to be Russell Wilson. So and that's not a shot at Russell, but it's probably who he really is. I'm just saying, as a black athlete, you have to be humble. And Cam's anything but humble. So, I can go all day about that shit, man.
Man, I love where this conversation went. We started off talking about Baker Mayfield. We totally went off topic, and we talking about legacies now of the Carolina Panthers. So, hey, it's the passion of the fans. That's how he is. We kind of, we've been buying this gear for years. We done went to games. We done spent our Sundays sitting here every Sunday, good, bad, indifference. Just looking for that championship, and it hasn't happened. So I love it. This is what we do when you talk about that barbershop banter. This is exactly what it means. So man, I'm excited to see where the Panthers going to go. Like I said, they got a tough season. I kind of see them just they need to start Baker at the top of the season, just because I told you at that point, at that 5 games, who he would be coming up, and that just setting them up for failure. So let them go ahead and get comfortable by just playing. Hopefully they don't try to hold them out and just try to get that 5th round pick. And hopefully they come out good, man, just because I think it's deserved. I want to see Christian McCaffrey actually have a good game. And man, I just want to see somebody else coming out of there besides Tom Brady out of y'all division, for real.
That's what it really is. That's the point. Really, now everything comes out. Hey, any last words?
I'm sick of Tom Brady myself, man. I'm sick of Tom Brady myself.
Prez, you got any last words before we let James roll out, man?
Nah, man. That's it. Go ahead. I will say, y'all, if y'all don't know who King James is, King James he dropped 2 great albums over the past year. He did the first 48 with Kill, and then he just dropped the Weather Report 2 earlier this year with JR, which was, just building further. Get Weather Report 1, 2. Both of them build on it. They got a nice little theme. We have talked about it in several of our episodes. I think you'll probably hear it again in our indie top 5 list. So that we
top
just
10,
did, so.
top 10.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Top 5, top 10. No, I'm joking, man. No. We did. Yeah. No, we had. No, you'll see when we drop the episode. We had that spoiler alert. We had both had you guys' joint EP drop on there in terms of some of our favorite drops from the past half a year. Being that so much shit dropping, we doing quarterly, mid-year reviews because it's just too much to keep up with, man, and too many quality drops. But to really call out 10, it would be too super hard at the end of the year to tally that up. So we still just trying to give people shine. You know what I mean? So, but man, James, take us out, man. Let people know where they can find you and just music or what you got going on moving forward.
All right, man. I'm King James, man, straight out of North Carolina. One half of Outliers Entertainment with me and my brother JR. Catch me on Twitter, twitter.com/JamesSpitFlames. Also, we have a website, outliers252.com. Pick up the physicals that we have. Dropping the project. I was planning for the end of this month, but probably going to be the middle of next month. Titled Trismegistus. It's going to be a full-length EP. And also, my brother JR, he's dropping on the 15th, Who Dreams Part 2. That shit is cold as fuck, man. I can't wait for y'all to hear it. Like I've been listening to it a lot, and I'm telling you, man, like it's insane, So be on the lookout for that. But that's all I got going on right now.
All right, y'all go check out his music, check out JR's music, and we are out, man. That is our bonus Patreon episode. We appreciate y'all for sticking around.